happy now? Now.
Yo, the Rowan's just bossing. Lit.
But that's alright.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo guys, what is up? Max on Borderlands stream video, and today we're going over all of the weapon buffs that were buffed on June 10th. There are a ton of weapons to go over and some really strong weapon buffs. I have rated every single one of these weapons and we'll be discussing them in length. If you guys do enjoy the video, if you find it helpful, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. All right, so the first weapon we're talking about is the 7th Sense. Now, the 7th Sense got a 100% damage buff. This thing, unfortunately, can still not come with anointments, which is definitely going to hurt its score. If you guys want to go get yourself this weapon, you can get it from Cold Case Quest in DLC 2. And after playing with this thing on Flak and Zane and using it, it's strong for a weapon that doesn't have anoints. If this thing had anoints, it could possibly be one of our better pistols. It's got like 47k base damage, plus when you hit an enemy, it spawns these projectiles into the air. If you hit a crit, it'll spawn more projectiles, and it does decent work. It's just a little underwhelming for like just a pistol in general. You end up having to use like almost a whole magazine sometimes on just to kill enemies. So a 6 out of 10. It's decent for mobbing. It's decent for bossing, but this thing just simply needs anointments. If this thing got anointments, it would be one of the better pistols in the game. And yeah, 6 out of 10 for the 7th Sense. Just do a little bit of killing here. See, like, that's looking much better. But yeah, this thing just simply needs anoints. I don't know why it hasn't received them yet. If this thing had anoints, it would be beautiful. And yeah, with that, let's move on to our next weapon. So our next weapon to talk about is the Butcher. Now, the Butcher got a 83% damage buff. This thing went from around being like 5,000 times 3 damage to like 9,000 times 3 damage, which is really nice. It really needed that damage buff. But what's even better about the Butcher is that they increased its chance to refill its ammo. Basically, its legendary property that you could keep firing this thing for longer wasn't working all that well. In fact, the Butcher was one of the best ways to just straight up run out of ammo without doing any damage. Now it can be fired on any character without any ammo regen for basically forever. This is a ×3 Butcher. Oh, I got a guy coming up these stairs here. Like, do you see this? This is Amara. You see how fast I was shooting that? I have no ammo regen. It's genuinely it's crazy. It's crazy. You put like any points into ammo regen at all into anything, and you will never reload this thing ever. Now, because you can fire it so quickly, you can actually dish out some really sick damage with this thing. I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10. On like some bossing, it's not the greatest, but this thing with consecutive hits firing this fast, unending, there's so many build possibilities. I am currently working on updated Chaos Queen, and I plan to have the Butcher be part of it because this is just such an incredible weapon. It's so much fun to use, and I'm so glad that the Butcher got this love that it needed, because it really did need this buff. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy with like any character. This is the reason this weapon is so highly rated for me, is you can use this with any character, any setup. You don't need any investment to make this thing work. It's just good, and with a proper build, you can make this thing just even better. I'm so excited. If you guys want to go get a Butcher, you can farm it from Lootergrams or Slaughter Shack is the 2 best places to go get this thing. So our next weapon is the Herald, and this one may win this week's hotfix video. This thing got 100% damage. It was honestly really strong before. I would say probably the 2nd best Torgue pistol in the game. It got 100% damage boost. This thing is now sitting at like 33k times 3 damage, but this thing also has unlisted projectiles. So like on its card, it's sitting at slightly over 90k damage, which is more than a Backburner's card damage if you look at a Backburner. But the thing about the Unkempt Herald is it has 4 unlisted projectiles when you shoot it. So this thing, every time you fire it, you're going to want a ×3 variant, is going to be hitting for like 200k card base damage. This thing comes in all elements. You can get it from DLC 3, and this thing is genuinely like one of the best pistols in the game now. Like, seriously, one of the best pistols. We're going to be rating this thing a 10 out of 10 just because of sincerely how freaking strong this thing is. For boss killing, for melting, it comes in all elements. It does good radius. It's really just like, it's strong all around. Specking into splash, using consecutive hits next to mags, rad, whatever you kind of want to use on this thing. Right now I'm using a consecutive hits rad one on Moe's. Just destroys everything. It is so strong, and I'm not sure, it's hard to compare because our next weapon we're about to talk about is really freaking strong as well, but just such a great hotfix. If you guys have not gone and gotten yourself a Herald, you absolutely need to, especially on Moe's with splash damage. This thing is nuts. Let's do a little rad kill here. But kill, it's insane. It's insane. One of the best pistols in the game for sure now. Our next buff and the winner of the largest buff of this entire hotfix is the Rowan's Call, receiving a 300% damage increase. That is right, 300% more damage on the Rowan's Call. This thing is a mobbing machine now. Across like any character, this thing for mobbing and now genuinely for bossing, you can do work with this thing. I was using the Rowan's Call on Flak, it was shredding. On Zane, it was shredding. On Amara, it was shredding. Even on Moe's, I don't typically use Jacob's weapons on Moe's, but the Rowan's Call is worth using now. It reminds me so much of like back when this game first came out and the Rowan's Call and the call weapons were really meta. The Rowan's Call on Amara, on any sort of mobbing situation, is just so strong. You would be silly not to go get yourself one. If you want to farm yourself a Rowan's Call, you would go to Slaughter Star 3000. The final bosses have a chance of dropping one. It's a tough farm, but this weapon is now genuinely one of the best assault rifles in the game. Like, this thing's like power creeping the Monarch. It's genuinely insane. It obviously doesn't have the same bossing potential as the Monarch, but as a mobbing weapon, this is now a top tier mobbing weapon in Borderlands 3, which is so exciting. I'm definitely going to be featuring some more builds with it, because like, just look at this thing go to work. It's so good. So good. Out of 10, I would rate this thing a 9.5 out of 10. I like it just slightly more than the Butcher, a little bit less than the Unkempt Herald. Honestly, with this hotfix, just everything, all of the buffs we got were just so quality. And with that, guys, we're moving on to our next weapon. Our next weapon is an interesting one. The next weapon that got buffed is the Devil's Foursum. Now, this thing only got a 33% damage buff, which is not great. That's not a lot. Probably not enough to make this thing super strong. What it did get is a 100% splash radius increase. If you look at this card, it's plus 576 splash radius. This thing with area effect damage or splash radius will hit you. You cannot shoot this thing into the air without killing yourself. It is ridiculous. Like, the radius is absolutely insane. However, on builds that have splash immunity, like for example using it on Zane or Moe's, or like spamming action skill start Super Soldier, you can actually gain immunity to this thing, and then it becomes a lot of fun. But without the right setup with this thing, you will genuinely just blow yourself up. This is a warning right now that if you are sensitive to bright flashes, look away now. This thing is absolutely crazy. It's a lot of fun to use. It hurt it by its splash radius increase, but it also helped it. This thing is quite interesting now. Just to show you guys what this thing does, it is this is, by the way, a 200 splash one. So like for most of this, I'm probably not gonna have my my annoying up, but as you can see, like, you just fire this thing in the general direction. This is like the root in a pistol form. It doesn't do as much damage as the root, but in terms of radius, you shoot this thing in an area and everything gets hit by it. It is absolutely insane. I hate how good this is looking right now, because it's really looking strong. It's basically a root in pistol form. Definitely a go pick up, but you need to really be using this on a build that just gives yourself immunity. Otherwise, you'll have an awful time. You're just gonna kill yourself over and over using it. That was a bridge clear. That was a whole bridge clear with this thing in just like literally like a few seconds. Pretty insane. But yeah, you need splash damage immunity. You need immunity to your own damage, either on Zane or Moze, or spamming action skill start with like a super soldier. That is the Devil's Foursum. So unfortunately, at the time of filming this video, the Lucian's Call, King's Call, and Queen's Call did not get buffed. In the hotfix, they said they would get buffed. I've reached out to Gearbox, and they said they're looking into it, but their buffs never applied, so no point in showing them off. I decided to put this video out for you guys as soon as I could to show off these buffs, the weapons that did get buffed, and I will probably have a second video when the Lucian's Call and the Queen's Call and the King's Call do receive their buffs. Hopefully they're big. But guys, that is it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys found this video informative. I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.